Batman Forever. That's right, folks. There is a specific reason we're talking about this movie this week, and that is because we just lost the great Val Kilmer, a really interesting presence on screen. His legacy will be felt forever. He is so charismatic and charming and has a very distinctive style and energy to him, both on screen and off screen. There was a documentary that came out about him that he helped make called Val. It was a couple years ago when he was still losing his voice. So his son did all the narration for that in like his own voice. Really beautiful. I really like him. I think he's such an interesting figure in Hollywood. And it's sad to see him go so young. But I figured for the next couple of weeks we would talk about a couple Val Kilmer movies. And we're starting with this one solely because I had the DVD available to watch it. I haven't upgraded to a 4K if there is one yet. I figured it's just easiest if I could get this one out of my system because at some point we're going to talk about it anyways. Might as well get into Batman Forever right now. It's the perfect time. So, Batman Forever. It is a Joel Schumacher film. I don't think we've talked about him yet on this channel. An interesting filmmaker in his own right. It is the third film in the Tim Burton produced Batman quadrilogy or whatever it's called. It's the one that doesn't have Clooney or Keaton in it. So it's like the middle one. Not the forgotten one, but it's the one nobody's talking about that much. This came out before my time. This is a mid-90s film. I was born in the late 90s. And I didn't grow up with it. I really didn't. It's right there, even like the Burton ones. I didn't grow up with them. I found them as I got older. So this was never my Batman movie. I have seen it before. I am well aware of the film and all of what it's doing and everything. And I will say it is... How do we talk about this? It is very interesting. It is an insane film that I don't vibe with on every level, but I also think at the same time, we're never going to see a movie made like this again. There is something so grandiose in the way we film this, the way the camera is always at a Dutch angle, the way the sets are so huge, the way it is so slapstick and classic comic book. There is never in our lifetime going to be another comic book movie on this scale ever again. And saying all that, I think this movie is insufferable and annoying, but I can't help but appreciate the spectacle that goes into making this. It's a bold swing. It is a bold swing, and truthfully, I respect it. I think it's a very respectable attempt at doing Batman. It is maybe one of the most clear-cut examples of doing an issue of a Batman comic on screen. It's not trying to look cool. It's not trying to modernize the character. It is just, this is an issue of Batman. Here's what happens in that issue. Stupid stuff happens. It's crazy. It's weird. I kind of like it, but I hate almost everything going on in this movie. The production's insane. I think the sets we build are huge. I think the weird use of like the 3D camera tricks and all like the weird visual effects are so dated, but I kind of love them. Everything just looks crazy. It's all bright neon colors in darkly lit areas. Everything's like a weird skeleton. All the people are wearing big spikes and leather jackets. Nobody looks like a normal person. And that is a very clear, distinctive vision for a Gotham City. It is one of the most insane looking Gotham cities. I don't think anything looks like it's real. Everything looks like it's on a set or a soundstage, and I think that's really awesome, because that's kind of like what a comic book feels like, is everything is just so close-quartered and trapped together. So when the fact that a movie can feel like that, it doesn't bother me. This is not the worst Batman movie ever made, nor is Val Kilmer the worst actor to play Batman. His Batman, dare I say, has a lot of similarities to the Robert Pattinson Batman. I think both in how his Bruce Wayne behaves and how he is as Batman. Very aloof, very stiff, very monotone in how he's delivering everything, but kind of horny. That's the thing about this era of movies as well. things were kind of horny in a weird way. This is not the horniest Batman movie of this era, but there is just some weird energy coming off of all the female characters in here. So we get right into this movie, and it doesn't really slow down. There's like a million plots going on. The first plot we have to deal with is Tommy Lee Jones replacing Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent. This is our new Two-Face. It's Tommy Lee Jones. He is camping it up to the extreme in a very weird way. It's an insane performance that you just don't expect from this guy, because you're like, why is he going full throttle in this way? It's crazy. His minions look crazy. That's another thing, man. These movies used to have like regular people in them and love interests and goons, and the goons were themed. They weren't just like mindless henchmen of guns or robots. They were dressed like their guy. That's like a classic Batman thing that we've lost in some of these new iterations. I think it's awesome in a really stupid way. This movie's so weird. So we have to deal with him. So like the opening act of the movie is just like beating up on Harvey Dent till he comes back later and like takes revenge on everything going on. It is the worst Two-Face we've seen on screen. It is an insane performance, and I don't really jive with it, but whatever. That's something we deal with. This movie also introduced us to Dr. Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman. The weirdest addition to this movie. I love Nicole Kidman. We've talked about her when we did Practical Magic. She is so beautiful in this era. A really nice looking girl who just shows up and is commanding on screen. Just visually striking. In this movie, she sees Batman and is like, holy shit, I gotta get inside that suit and make love to that man. She's a doctor though. But every sequence she's in, she's doing like a breathy voice. And she's like, I guess a girl's got to grow up sometime. And then she decides she wants to bang Bruce Wayne halfway through the movie. Also, unrelated, I really like how Val Kilmer dresses as Bruce Wayne. The glasses, the turtlenecks. He looks like a proper guy from the 90s where it's like, yes, this is how normal people dress in my position. It feels so insincere, and I think that just makes it more sincere. He's kind of trying sometimes. He's kind of doing it. So, Two-Face wants money or something. We also meet a new addition to this universe, not an actor who's being replaced by another actor. We have Edward Nygma appearing in this movie, played by Jim Carrey. The Riddler is also in this movie. Now, I've said it before. I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey. In particular, I hate this era of Jim Carrey. I don't like any of the movies that he does. I do not like the comedy he gives off. The energy pisses me off and bothers me. I want to drop a brick on him. I don't enjoy it. The whole manic nature of this guy, it pisses me off. Not just the character in this movie, especially the character in this movie, but the actor. I don't like any of his movies. They all bother me. I'm not a Jim Carrey fan. He pisses me off so much in this movie. It's so annoying and so stupid. He works for Wayne Enterprises. He's like, Mr. Wayne, you hired me personally, though we haven't met. I have this new technology. What if we had like a TV device where you could control people? Ooh. And I'm like, yeah, what if we did? What is the use of that? He tells us later so he can steal their credit card information. He makes a device to control your mind so you can just like get money. I kind of appreciate that it's just a plot for these dumb, stupid villains to get money. But just rob a bank. It's so lame. He's a genius who's overlooked, and he goes evil because it's easier. Because nobody believes his inventions are good. I hate him. I hate everything this character does. I hate his stupid outfit. I hate every time he's on screen watching the stupid TV stuff. It makes me mad. I don't like it at all. I barely like anything going on in this movie. The saving grace, in my opinion, is just how aloof and weird Val Kilmer feels. Everything feels insane when he's talking, and I really appreciate that. He doesn't feel like he wants to be anywhere, but then he sees Nicole Kidman and is like, I guess out of everything in my life, you are something attractive that I wouldn't mind being around. That is all he does. That's all he feels like doing. Oh yeah, if it wasn't crowded enough, we also have the death of the Flying Graysons in this movie. So this is the first time in like a huge cinematic movie that we are introduced to Dick Grayson, played by Chris O'Donnell. And he's like a 28-year-old man. I know he's not actually, but he's a grown man. He's like as tall as Bruce Wayne. Robin should not be as tall as Bruce Wayne. I know why they aged him up. Because it'd be weird to have like an actual 10-year-old running around with Batman when there's a gangster with a scarred face shooting his family and people. You don't do that. But in this plot, it's even weirder because the Flying Graysons are at the circus act. Bruce takes Chase Meridian there. And then Two-Face shows up and he like has a bomb planted until Batman shows up. But then Dick disposes of the bomb. And his parents fall off the trapeze and they all die. And thus, literally in like the next sequence, Dick Grayson goes to live with Bruce Wayne. It is so weird. It is so forced. And we're in like the perfect era. And there are complete like retrospectives and reviews on YouTube of people talking about how merchandising affected this movie, how, you know, audiences felt about all this stuff. I think it's an insane movie. And part of why it's insane is the relationship between Batman and Robin. That's a grown-ass man you're hanging out with now. It's not like fatherly or loving. It's just, I need this kid here right now because I know what he went through and it doesn't affect me in any capacity. I guess that's kind of Batman, and maybe that's where Val Kilmer is like kind of weak in the performance of like expressing the emotion to Dick, but also this Dick sucks. He steals the Batmobile and like tries to like terrorize some like goons and like hits on a girl. He's like, man, I love being a superhero. Like, let's just stop. So let's just stop that, okay? That's annoying and dumb. I keep saying it, but I just keep going back to how crazy the visuals look. We do sweeping shots through like a CGI Gotham going from weird, insane buildings to buildings. The camera is just never perfectly straight. It is just tilted in Dutch angles all over the goddamn place. This feels like Schumacher doing a super expensive version of the 1966 show. And I love that show. That's my favorite Batman. My favorite Batman is Adam West. And this movie feels the closest to that energy without getting too camp, without getting too insane. It is campy as all hell. Two-Face has like two girls. One of them's like nice. The other one's naughty. Drew Barrymore is one of them. And then the Riddler shows up and he's like, oh, I guess we're going to do a thing now. Just this annoying as fuck Jim Carrey energy I don't like to see. They're an annoying team up. I hate them. I completely understand why Tommy Lee Jones said, I don't have time for Jim Carrey's buffoonery. But dude, look what you're wearing and look how you're behaving. You're not playing this straight, okay? So shut up about that. And what I will say, what I do appreciate about this film as well, is that it ends with the villains having people in a cage. I feel like that's something we don't do a lot anymore. It's just like a big, elaborate set piece for a supervillain. Here's a cage. Is Batman going to save Chase or is he going to save Dick? How's that going to go? Whichever one he doesn't save, they're falling into a big pit. The Riddler's like, I'm using my mind control device to wipe the minds of everybody in the world practically. Are you going to be able to save these people? The answer is yes, because he's Batman. But I'm like, that's cool. Like, we don't just have villains anymore in these comic book movies who just have a stupid big room. Like, they took over a factory and they have like a pit that leads to the bottom of the sea or whatever, and they're going to drop people in it. We don't do that anymore. We should, because it's interesting and it's comic books. It's silly and dumb. We made everything too realistic again. We have to go back. There needs to be the right balance of like the Schumacher era with the Nolan stuff, and we haven't found it yet. But this movie, well, I don't love what's going on. I respect the effort put into it, you know? The Riddler looks like Riddler. Batman looks like Batman. Everyone's doing their best with like what they're told to do. It almost feels like a Verhoeven movie of how fucking insane everything is. But at the end of the day, they beat the bad guys. Dick gets his arc of realizing he shouldn't kill Harvey. And then Harvey dies anyways. And then we just, we wrap it up nice and easy. We got Batman and Robin now. What's the future going to look like for these two? Well, one of them comes back, the other one doesn't. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's an insane movie that is not going to work for a huge majority of people. But by gum, I just think it's something to behold. Like, I genuinely don't think we'll ever make a movie that looks like this, feels like this, behaves like this, consists of these tropes ever again. And I mean that as a bad thing. As much as this movie doesn't work, I love it and I think it works. I hate it so much, but I love what it's doing. And it's such a weird balance of the two. And I do give a lot of that to Kilmer committing to what he had to do. It doesn't seem like he's having the most fun in the world, but I think in his documentary even, he said, it's every kid's dream to be Batman, but not every kid wants to play Batman in a movie. And I completely get that. Like, that is how this feels. And I kind of respect the movie for doing this energy. It's not easy, but you made something work. It is at the very least not the worst Batman movie I've ever seen, nor is it the worst comic book movie ever made. So that's something. If that's the title Batman Forever holds on to, I respect it for that. So that's going to do it for this episode of Dynamic Tales. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.